All right, we got me and Christian sitting here in the theater for Doctor Strange 2. Christian, what do you think? General overthoughts?
Well, that final end credit scene was really funny.
Yeah, stay for those. Stay for
Popped out.
those.
But yeah, fine movie. I think I enjoyed the Sam Raimi bits more so than the content of the movie. I guess the Marvel themes in the film. I don't know. I think you kind of had a similar thought.
Yeah, I mean, the Marvel stuff wasn't bad, but I gotta tell you, the Sam Raimi horror elements was like,
Made the movie.
it was just fantastic. I mean, we'll talk about it, but things that only Sam Raimi can do, I think it was great.
Yeah, but not enjoyable for sure. But definitely not a top Marvel movie.
Yeah.
First thoughts.
Yeah,
But
we'll get into it.
done.
We'll
Yeah.
get into it.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Cellar Dwellers. As you heard in that introduction, that was some of Andrew and I's initial thoughts, similarly to what we did with Spider-Man No Way Home. And today we have a very special guest, a film student himself, an avid movie watcher, moviegoer, buddy Eoin. I would say Eoin is at least our top one or two fans of this, I would say. Like, you're definitely up there. I mean, Eoin, if you want to give a brief introduction about yourself, that'd be good.
Yeah, my name is Owen Var. I'm not gonna say do we say our last names?
It doesn't matter.
I'm not gonna say it. But my name's Owen. You guys can know that. And I like movies, and I hope you do too.
He does. He loves
And I hope
movies.
you like me.
Yeah. So yeah, he had reached out to Andrew after seeing our good episode last time with our buddy Kyle. So glad to have him. Definitely something we'll hopefully continue doing, and welcome anytime, Owen. But yeah, so I guess we can just give our initial thoughts. Again, I know you heard what Andrew and I had to say, but I guess I can start. I think what I liked most about this movie was the unique style from Sam Raimi. That's from the last episode, we talked in depth about how much we love the original Spider-Man trilogy and just Raimi's comedic style, his choice of dialogue and just all that good stuff that you can clearly tell. But especially here, some of the great different horror moments, kind of towards the end with the I guess Doctor Strange zombie, and then all those like dead souls kind of going after him, and of course, as we'll get into, the great Bruce Campbell cameo, excuse me. Just so many funny, laughable moments with, again, just a great taste of horror that I think definitely lacks and hasn't really been seen in any other Marvel film. But yeah, I overall as a Marvel film, I thought it was fine. It wasn't fantastic, and I think from the past few films, that with the exception of No Way Home, they sort of been on a downward trend, as Andrew and I have talked with Black Widow and Shang-Chi, kind of letdowns. I definitely would not go that far with this. It was way better than that, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I appreciated that Sam Raimi finally got a touch in the MCU. So I guess, Owen, if you want to go next, just some of your initial thoughts on the movie or overall impressions.
I will say before Owen jumps in, I was
Go ahead.
I was a little surprised when he said, like, hey, can I join in the Doctor Strange episode? Because like Marvel movies have never really been his thing. So I feel like we're gonna hear a hot take, but I'm really not sure because I haven't talked to him about this yet.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I was really confused watching this one, man. Because it's called Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But I didn't realize it was the second one because there's no 2 in the title. I never saw the first Doctor Strange, so, but I don't think it really mattered because everything. I've seen that dude in every other Marvel movie. So, anyways, this movie, I have some notes here. I got my yellow pages.
Look at you, came prepared.
One of my notes is Marvel continues to make the fakest looking movies I've ever seen. The next bullet point is worst Marvel movie since, what's the Jared Leto one?
Morbius.
Which was the most
Morbius.
recent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which I also did not see. Just for a matter of record.
You listened to our review on it, didn't you? That's all you heard.
Yeah, exactly. I should also, dude, one of the characters in this movie, her name is America.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
America
I found
Chavez.
that very. I
Who's
found
gonna
that-
be in Doctor Strange 3? A white kid named Mexico? You know?
No, it's actually a black girl named Canada.
An
Quick slated that.
an Asian boy named Iran? Like what's the same continent actually? So that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I have some other stuff. Buko, what do you think? Pass it
Right.
over to you, big man.
The movie ended and I really enjoyed it. Not so much for the superheroism of any of the characters, but more so because I felt like I was watching another Sam Raimi horror movie, which I'm a big fan of, Sam Raimi and horror movies. But there were certain techniques that they used when making the movie that it was very horror centric. And one of my biggest desires in film for a long time has been a superhero movie that's rooted in horror. And I think honestly, this is probably the closest we're going to get in a long time, because New Mutants was a train wreck. Morbius was a train wreck. Ghost Rider wasn't really horror. I mean, even though it could be, it wasn't. And this one had, things like point of view camera shots that, I mean, obviously the first thing I think of is Halloween in a general sense, but when it comes to Sam Raimi, obviously Evil Dead, when the camera's flowing through the woods like the evil, it's very similar. Like when the camera's looking around the staircase in Multiverse of Madness. Again, you have those shots where I will say major spoilers for the movie if you haven't picked up on that already. When the dead spirits are like swirling around Wanda, the camera acts as one of the spirits. There's really close-up shots of a lot of characters. There's like funky dissolve transitions. There's references to Evil Dead movies, most notably with Bruce Campbell. When his hand is attacking him, it's the same choreography that was in Evil Dead 2. And when Zombie Strange comes back to life, the hand shoots up out of the grave, and it's the poster for the Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. Yeah.
So I think I love the horror elements in it. It wasn't necessarily a scary movie, because obviously all of that ended up taking a backseat to superheroes. As a Marvel movie, it was okay. Good guy beats the bad guy.
Oh, and so when you said something along the lines of like this was a very visually poor film.
Yes.
Could you
One
reread
of the
that quote you said?
fakest looking movies ever.
So I'm assuming you probably have every Marvel movie looks fake and over the top CGI and a lot of that going on for you, right? Especially since you don't really care for the MCU. I wouldn't consider you a Marvel fan.
I'm not a Marvel head, no.
Yeah, I'm not a Marvel head. So what about the movie looked poor, visually? Just all the different multiverse universes and things like that.
There's something about Marvel movies where the production design of the whole thing, not only is it guided by your computer or whatever, the computer generated, all the computer magic, but also just the general lookbook of a film is so it almost looks like a Hallmark original movie to me, where it's just so overlit and there's a lot of lack of depth, or it's too just you know what I mean? It's there's there must be a manual they use for each of their movies. You know what I mean? There's no, it feels very contingent in how it feels and plays. And I do think this movie kind of breaks the mold, as you pointed out, the POV shots and everything. But even then, it feels like Marvel gave let's give 15 minutes, every other 15 minutes to Sam Raimi and let him do some weird shit. And we'll just like fill in all the rest because he'll make it too weird almost. Like the parts that are really Raimi just seem like forcibly Raimi, and which it's a thing where it's like they're trying to make Raimi like this Marvel character, like, oh, this is a reference to his other movies, and like just how they made like, I don't know, like it's Stan Lee, just like, oh, it's Stan Lee, and it's like, oh, look, they're doing the Evil Dead thing. It's like the same that shit, but I do think, yeah, like these, it feels like the studio gave like every other like 30 or 40 minutes to Raimi for like 10 minutes in the movie and said, yeah, you can do your weird thing. But it is very like I get like the Evil Dead illusions and stuff, but given that like the book, like the what's it called, the Darkhold?
Yeah, the Darkhold.
Is that the book? It's just the Necronomicon.
I thought that during the movie.
Yeah, like it's just a Necronomicon. It's the evil book. So like I get it, but also it's like, I don't know. I will
So you're
say
saying
the movie reminded me of Days of Future Past, and that's a movie I actually like.
You like Days of Future Past? That's surprising.
Days of Future Past rules, dude. I love it.
I like that movie too. Don't get me wrong. I'm just surprised that you like
No.
that movie.
No, that's a really good movie. I like that movie.
All right.
We should have done Days of Future Past. Yeah.
I know you'd have a much more glowing review of Days of Future Past.
yeah, topic for another day, as we always say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I'm sort of in the facilitator role here because Andrew, between the two of us, is definitely the Sam Raimi expert, and it clearly seems like Owen, you clearly thought that a lot of those moments were just way too forced. I mean, I don't know if you had any rebuttal to that, Andrew, what he said.
I don't know if forced is the word I would use, but I do agree with Owen when he said that they'll give him 15 minutes every 30 minutes or whatever it was. Because as Christian and I had talked about earlier, there were points in the script where certain jokes you could tell were in the style of Sam Raimi, whereas other jokes were in the style of sixth grade Marvel movie humor, which I'm never a fan of. But the awkward encounters between certain characters and the way that the script handles their development and interactions, a lot of that I think can be attributed to Sam Raimi's style. But when the characters say things like, oh, does Spider-Man shoot webs out of his butt? Like, that's just stupid. Like, there's no reason for them to do that. Or when they get introduced to the Illuminati and Baron Mordo says, oh, here's the Illuminati, and Doctor Strange says the Illumawati. It's just stupid. It's unnecessary. It honestly, it takes away from the significance of the Illuminati and what their inclusion in the movie means for the future of the MCU, future projects, inclusion of the characters, whatever. But because they made the joke, that's all anyone ever thinks about, is that Doctor Strange made a funny joke.
That's something you and I have discussed a lot that really frustrates us, is these, middle school stupid jokes that are just forced in all these MCU movies. And for a while, I was always sitting there asking myself, like, who is this for? Because every Marvel movie I've seen up until this one, it was a lot of those jokes that just didn't land. There was like that, period of silence that's intended for the audience to laugh.
Laugh track.
Very rarely would people laugh. Exactly. But I kind of found out who this movie was for with all these hooligans we had in the front two rows, and that any time one of those stupid middle school butt web jokes came up, they just laughed uncontrollably. And then, but was odd because some of the other more funny moments, I'd say that fits more of Raimi's style, they didn't really get and kind of went over their head. So I guess they clearly, listen, they know what they're doing more than me, but I get so like sick and tired the first 5 minutes when I just hear them talking about if Spider-Man shoots webs out of his butt. Like it's cringeworthy to me. And it only seems like it's just getting like worse and worse. And I don't know if they're gearing that towards like a younger audience or just trying to have simple humor, but you could definitely pick out the Raimi humor moments and the MCU humor moments throughout this movie. Totally. But something I kind of noticed, and Owen, I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but I know Andrew probably won't, because we sort of talked about this the other day, but I got the sense in this movie that Doctor Strange, for lack of a better term, kind of took a back seat in his own labeled movie with the character you had mentioned, Owen, America Chavez, who, in my opinion, I think was only in this movie for the simple fact of being able to jump from multiverse to multiverse. And my issue with that is, if the MCU is sort of all cohesive and kind of building towards something as they were with Avengers Endgame, which one can assume they have some type of plan to build towards a huge movie or towards a bigger villain or what have you. I just find it hard to believe that with No Way Home, right, Doctor Strange was like besides Spider-Man, he was the focal point when it came to the multiversal matters, right? And so one would kind of just make the assumption, oh, in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, he's gonna have some type of impact into going from multiverse A to multiverse B. And with America Chavez, that just completely gets thrown out the window. So I don't know what your thoughts on that would be, Owen.
Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts on that. I just think yeah, I wish they went to more multiverses. I feel like we were in like two. Like
Right.
I mean,
I
there's
have that point in my
obviously that
notes.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
obviously like that montage where they're going through them all and they look like trippy and stuff, but like there's only like two, and the second one they go to, like the biggest difference is like the trees, the leaves are white, and like there's
The buildings look
it
different.
looks like like those like society if like X was eradicated, or like
Mhm.
those memes,
Yeah.
society of whatever. It just looks like one of those stock images of like this futuristic thing. But yeah, I don't know. I liked America's character. I wish there was like more she was doing. She is just a plot device. Like
Right.
her standing in the movie is essentially the same as the evil book. It's just like this way for the characters to solve or like cause a problem, right? But she seems like I like the actress. I thought she was actually really good. And I'd like to see more of her, I guess, and like see her take on a bigger role.
Andrew made a good point. I'm sure he'll get into this. Like, I understand that they're definitely, I would hope they're gearing her up for some type of bigger role down the line, because obviously, like for example, with Thor coming out, again, something Andrew and I talked about, Thor he's not going to be in every single Marvel movie for the rest of the time, right? Like you got to kind of conclude his story and have somebody else kind of take over that role. So if they plan to do that with America Chavez, and especially because she, is learning the ways of sorcery at the end of the movie, so one would assume she's, going to take on that role eventually. I have no issue with it, but yeah, when that's the sense I got too, is like she was just a mere plot device in this movie, and I kind of wish there was more to it than just that. And I don't want to get into it now, but even kind of how it ended with her showing Scarlet Witch what she should have saw all along. It was just, I don't know, some parts of her role just felt lazy to me. But yeah, Andrew, what were some of your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I do want to talk about Scarlet Witch in a little bit because it's obviously a huge part of the movie. With regard to America Chavez, I understand she was a plot device, and I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, because all the characters serve their own specific purpose, and I have realized that the sole purpose of her being there in addition to just introducing her character, was to allow the characters to jump from universe to universe without having to explain how Doctor Strange would learn how to do it. And I mean, also to the point, it's a point of motivation for Wanda, Scarlet Witch, because that's how she's able to do it. So if you allow Doctor Strange to do it, then narratively you should allow Wanda to do it, and then there's no movie.
Right.
So you got to understand that. I do think that like they just want to introduce the character. They want to get her in there because a lot of the young Avengers are being introduced. Obviously, there's America Chavez. You have Kate Bishop, who's in Hawkeye. You have Kamala Khan, who's getting a TV show in a month. You have Speed and Wiccan, who are in WandaVision and this movie. I think Riri Williams is getting her own show. So like it's gearing up more and more for a young Avengers style kind of thing. And to what Owen said earlier of the fact there are only 2 universes, I have down here in my notes that for a movie called The Multiverse of Madness, it really looked like the multiverse took a back seat because they go from the 616 universe to the Illuminati universe. And it just so happens, coincidentally, that everything they need to defeat Wanda and save the multiverse is in that Illuminati universe. Total coincidence by narrative standards. I mean, you can say that, like Doctor Strange said, oh, America, you sent us to the exact universe we needed every time. Like, no, it just so happened that that's how it is. And the saying that America knew what she was doing is kind of a narrative cop-out, honestly, if you ask me, because she didn't know what she was doing, obviously.
She admitted as much a bunch.
Yeah. And even in regards to the Illuminati universe, like I was really excited to see the Illuminati because you get characters like Captain Britain, Haley Atwell, who honestly is not necessarily the same Captain Britain that you saw in the first episode of What If. So if you ask me, what's even the point of putting her in the What If episode? You have Black Bolt from the Inhumans TV show, which I was kind of excited about because I was one of the 3 people that watched the Inhumans TV show. You have Professor X coming back. Thank you, Owen. Charles Xavier, Patrick Stewart. I was stoked to see the yellow wheelchair because obviously it's an iconic piece of his character, especially from I think the '97 TV show. And then the most there's Captain Marvel. Cool. The most excited character that I think anyone was to see was John Krasinski's Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, which has been a general fan cast floating around the internet for ages and ages. The problem is that they died not even 10 minutes later. Like all of them just got annihilated by Scarlet Witch. And I think that really connects to the America Chavez problem, which is where Marvel wants to introduce new characters and new blood into these movies. And, they give you the Illuminati, you have 5 or 6 characters that, aren't new, but kind of new. And I mean, that right there, you could have so many different movies just based on those characters, even if those movies happen to take place in that universe and not the 616. But then they rip them away. They say, like Christian said the other day when we were talking about it, they said, here's your dessert, look at it, and then they take it away and they say, you can't eat it because you can't. And I can totally see them making the Fantastic Four movie in a few years and not having John Krasinski play Mr. Fantastic because it's a different universe. And they want to, cast a different actor, even though that's the actor that everybody and their mother has been waiting for since anyone had the idea.
Right. Or even on the flip side of that, Andrew, I mean, the problem we've discussed before with introducing the multiverse, like nothing's really concrete anymore. Nothing's really like determined, right? So John Krasinski could be in it. He could just be another Reed Richards, even from the 616. He could be the same person, right? Like, because when you think of it, all the Doctor Strange is like the other one that we saw. It was the same Doctor Strange, like Benedict Cumberbatch version. So it wasn't a different actor. So I think it kind of, I guess, loses some of its like luster in that aspect because it's if somebody dies or bleeps out of that existence. Like, well, now there's a possibility there always can come back, because by, you know, multiversal standards, it's like there's an infinite number of that one character. So I think it's a slippery slope that they could go down, and something that could be very detrimental, as we've discussed a lot before.
Right. I mean, it's a problem I've been saying that could happen for years. Ever since they announced Multiverse, or ever since Disney bought Fox, I've been saying, you know, multiverse is a problem if not handled correctly. And I mean, like you just said, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt with the Illuminati, that, you know, the 616 Reed Richards still could be John Krasinski, but until we see that happen in a movie, it's shaky.
Right.
I hope it's not.
I know you do, of all people.
I saw John Krasinski and I was like, that dude looks old. That dude looks so old. When did that dude get so old, man? When I saw John Krasinski and he was like Mr. Tubbs in his Fantastic Four suit, I was like, multiverse of madness, more like multiverse of sadness. This is sad. I felt bad for John Krasinski. He looked fat and bloated. I was, you know what I mean?
I love seeing him, but like, I don't know. He's a great fit, because like Andrew said, he's been so fan cast and friggin' Jesus since The Office, basically. Like, he's literally, I did not hear one inkling of him being in this movie at all. It was all Instagram Marvel fanboy posts that were like, this will be so cool if he's a Reed Richards. But once I saw it, I'm like, the look's there, right? But he's almost like overly serious. That's the vibe I got. Like, he's overly serious, but at the same time, like, I couldn't really take what he's saying serious. And that's the vibe I got, at least.
Maybe because you just know him as Jim Halpert.
Yeah, I think he's kind of, in that regard, sort of typecast, in my opinion. I mean, he's a great actor. Do not get me wrong. I love him. He's very good in A Quiet Place. You know, in that other movie, I forget the military one about Benghazi.
Jack Reacher or something.
Yeah, and there's another.
No, I know what you mean. I don't know what it's called though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 13
but yeah,
hours.
That
13
one.
hours. Yeah, he's a great actor, but I was just like, it just something wasn't there for me with that. But again, that's not a detriment to him. It's just, but yeah, that what Andrew said, that's how I looked at it. Like, here's your dessert. You know, you can look at it, but you can't eat it. It's like this big build up to the Illuminati, and then they just get absolutely shredded by, you know, Scarlet Witch, Wanda, which, like, you know, I get makes sense, but I'm like, it's almost like the point of having them in there was just pure fan service. And so I can't necessarily say like I loved it, because it didn't add much to the film, like, narratively speaking.
I think we should talk about Scarlet Witch and how big of a proponent in this movie she was. I gotta say, obviously I knew she was gonna be in it because of all the previews and trailers and everything on TV, which I tried to avoid as best as I could. But I didn't know if she was gonna be the villain, which was kind of out of left field, honestly. Aside from like Civil War, really. I think she was a good villain, I guess, because she's probably had, I think, some of the most complex character development in the MCU, starting in was it 2015, the Age of Ultron, going through Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, WandaVision until now. WandaVision was my favorite of the Disney Plus shows. I can say that confidently now. I don't include What If. I'm just saying like live action. I can say that confidently because I have finished Moon Knight recently. So I would say that WandaVision is definitely my favorite, because I think WandaVision just has some great character development between Wanda and Vision, and individually as well. But in this movie, I think she was the runaway star with it, because she's just, Elizabeth Olsen was able to portray so much complex emotion and desire, motivation through the character, however striking that may be. Because obviously I'm sitting there during the movie thinking like, well, you know, that's great. Like, you go into another universe, but what's going to happen to the Wanda in that universe? And obviously they addressed that at the end with the America Chavez star-shaped portal. with the line, know that they'll be loved, they being the children, Speed and Wiccan. I think that was a good way to cap off her, not her arc, but that kind of story with her trying to redeem herself with her children that she made up. I will say I did not like when she redeemed herself by burying herself in the ruined temple. I understand they want to go for character redemption, because a good guy became a bad guy, wants to become a good guy again. I get that, but there are other ways of going about redemption than sacrificing yourself. Although I don't think she's dead.
Did she commit suicide?
I think that's what they want you to believe, but I really don't think she's dead. But I mean, there are other ways of redeeming your character than killing yourself. And there's no.
That would have been kind of badass, dude. It's like, I'm out. Then again, I don't really give a shit about Scarlet Witch.
See, I do.
I don't follow any of like the TV shows. So like, how like Captain America is still around. He's just like the Falcon or whatever. It's like, no, dude, Captain America, I saw that motherfucker get old, and they showed that at the end of Captain America's done, dude. I'm not gonna see anyone else wield the shield. This time is over. You know what I mean?
That's fine.
I haven't seen WandaVision or like What If or whatever, or whatever that is. I haven't seen Loki or like, so like I don't really care. Like, to me, Marvel now is probably gonna like, I don't know what they're gonna do, because they don't really have that many characters left. Like, they don't have any, you know what I mean? I don't feel like people are gonna find,
they're hitting the B list,
newer characters as compelling.
Right.
Like, but one thing they did with this, to what we were talking about this a little earlier, with Sam Raimi, they have attempted to tap in to the same like film community clout that like film people are like, oh, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, they want like a name.
Is that a shot at me, Owen?
But like a direct no. I'm saying Disney. Disney is no. I like Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay.
But Disney is they're introducing these like well-established like directors, like people who like like film people on Twitter and the internet would be like, oh, they're auteurs. Like, yeah, okay. But like they're attempting to bring in that draw.
I know what you mean. I get it.
Because you look at this year's Oscars, what won every fucking award? It wasn't Justice League, but they won every fan poll. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They won every fan award.
I know what you mean. I totally get it. And honestly, that was the first thing that crossed my mind at the 2021 Oscars, I think, when Chloe Zhao won for Nomadland, because she had already been contracted to do the Eternals.
Yeah.
And when she won that award, the first thing that popped in my mind was Marvel is going to go to town with this, saying that we have an Academy Award-winning director making our movie. And don't get me wrong, I mean, the Eternals was visually striking in some manners, but like it wasn't groundbreaking, You
see, I didn't see that one either.
I don't blame you.
Who the fuck are these characters? Like, why would I give?
Here's the thing. I'm still asking that after I saw the movie. Why do I care?
Like, there's no red mechanical dude or like the big green dude or the dude with the star shield. Like, those are dudes that I like.
Those are iconic characters.
Yeah, I like seeing those
right?
motherfuckers. You know what I mean? They're assembling and shit. Like,
assembling.
Well, like, you throw the dude from Silicon Valley in there, it's like no one has ever liked this dude outside of that. Like, I've seen The Big Sick. It's like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is he doing in there? Like, he's not.
I get it. I mean, The Eternals was a lackluster movie, to say the least.
I didn't see it.
Right. So you don't even know. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. Christian will agree with me. It's fine.
I think it's time to move on here.
Christian, what do you think is better, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness or the Eternals? Just give me your gut answer. Go.
Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay.
I mean, if I before we go on, I love listening to that back and forth you guys just had, but to kind of, I guess, semi get back on track. I mean, I enjoyed Scarlet Witch. I mean, I think Elizabeth Olsen has done an excellent job with that character, not only in WandaVision that Andrew and I definitely would most likely agree narratively and structurally and just overall. I think that was the strongest of the shows.
Definitely.
But in this, I didn't necessarily, I didn't mind that she was obviously, you know, the villain, but and I understand the ending's payoff, kind of her having semi relief, like knowing her whole dilemma is kind of settled, but it didn't mean much to me because, as Doctor Strange kind of said in the beginning of the film, like what will like your other yous think of when you try to, you know, basically kill them to take over their role? Like, how are you going to get by that? And then she never really thinks of that or does anything with it till the end. And I'm kind of just sitting there at the end. I'm like, my God, like this, it just felt very lazy and kind of sort of a cop out sort of to just end her dilemma like that. And I don't know, I don't want to say it was disappointing because like there was some, you know, it was pretty heartfelt, like her kind of finally realizing like, damn, like this was sort of wrong trying to.
I thought that was a great
kidnap
moment, honestly.
No, it was. I just my point is like the payoff. Everyone already knew it and saw it coming and knew that's exactly how it was going to end. Like there was no
I
way.
agree. I know what you mean.
There was no way her means to her end were going to end the way she thought they were. Like everyone and their mother that has a brain and can, you know, just critique movies, like would be able to tell like that's how it's going to end. She's going to somehow see what she's doing is wrong and have this enlightening moment. And I just, again, I get the payoff, respect it, but I just thought it was kind of very lazy. But yeah, I who knows? Like I said, I'm at this point, anyone that dies in Marvel movies, is never dead. So
no, they'll come
like
back.
something that definitely frustrates me with what I can see coming, and like you and Owen were discussing earlier, like I couldn't answer your question, Owen. I have no idea what they're planning to do. I really don't. I literally, we've talked about it on past episodes, and Andrew and I talk about it a lot at work, but it's almost like, you know, with like phases 1, 2, and 3, right? Like they obviously were all building towards Endgame, and you knew really around the time of the Avengers, like, wow, like they're building towards Thanos, and like every movie you saw, you're like, oh, like it was one step closer to that. And they all connected, they all had some type of relevance to one another. With all these movies, the end credit scenes, for example, just seem at this point completely meaningless because I just don't think they're going to have any payoff to anything, right? Like, for example, the Black Widow one with Yelena, I cannot pronounce her name, but like Yelena, like that movie is a problem in of itself, but like what connectivity does it have to the MCU film universe besides introducing her to the show? Like, now I haven't finished Hawkeye, but and I know they're all interconnected, but it seems like a lot of it is just pure fan service and just they have no idea. Just make individual movies and figure out how they connect down the line. And I don't know, to me that's kind of problematic, and I think it's just not going to end well because it doesn't seem like there's any cohesiveness anymore. And obviously no one's expecting this phase, you know, phase 4 to be as grandiose as, you know, the events leading up to Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame were. But I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just a sucker for expecting this to be building up towards something.
You know, that's a great segue into my next point.
Oh boy.
Because, you know, a filmmaker who really gets it and who really cares about continuity of his films, James Cameron. And I have to say, the Avatar 2 trailer, it titillated my senses.
Owen.
Dude, the Avatar 2
Owen.
trailer, did you guys see that?
Owen, we were booing the shit out of it the entire time. You were booing
not talking Avatar to the right 2, dude. This dude's
mean-
been working on these movies about blue people for like 14 years now, and you can't
know.
even be like, all right,
No,
maybe.
actually, that's incorrect. It's like 20 years in the making because the first one I heard was 10 years in the making. Can you believe it? So now it's over 10 years since that came out in 2011. We're at what, 11 years now, right? I can do math. So it's exactly 21 years in the making. This one is, and
I can believe it.
the next
James
5
Cameron
are going to be
rocks,
like
dude.
24, 25, 27 years into the making. I mean, I don't know what type of segue that was. I don't see the relevance to Doctor Strange besides.
Well, the
fact that
Marvel
it's the
Cinematic
trailer
Universe
before.
doesn't know where it's going, but you know who
That's-
knows
yeah.
where they're going? Avatar.
I don't think so. Do you know?
These blue guys, they got it down, dude. They know what they're
You-
doing out here.
Do you know?
I have some
Disney
notes
owns
on the
as
Avatar
well?
2, the Avatar 2 trailer. Breathtaking, gorgeous. James Cameron is doing more for the scientific community than Elon Musk. 5 out of 5, movie of decade. Dark times ahead aside from its 3 sequels.
Do you have in there fake #1 of all time grossing films, or at least with an asterisk?
The Avatar is #1. It's the greatest. It's the greatest.
Oh no, it's fake because it was released in China, so I do not count that. Its original runtime compared
No,
to
China.
Endgame's
You're
original
mixing.
runtime, Endgame surpassed it.
You're mixing China up with North Korea. North Korea is the fake country. China's actually real.
No, but it's you don't think it's it's no coincidence at all that they re-released it in one of those 2 countries right after Endgame surpassed it as a #1 all-time grossing film. Is there any correlation there?
I just think the Chinese demand for the Avatar movies is so high that whenever they see the next new big thing, they're like, well, we want to go back to that thing because that thing actually did it first.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of seems like to me Disney and or James Cameron was doing whatever it takes once they got surpassed to try to bullshit their way back on top. But listen, man, you know, if that's your opinion, I respect it. And I guess Andrew and I are in the minority when.
Well, Avatar 1 is
Strongly
going to be
dislike
#1. You know what's
Avatar.
going to be #2?
Avatar #2, you think?
Avatar 2, The Way of the Water. And I'll tell you
The
what,
Way
I
of-
tried looking up the trailer on YouTube after seeing it in the theaters because I was so enthralled by the Dolby Atmos speakers. But I couldn't find it. And all of them were just fan-made trailers with like Far Cry 3 machinimas and like clips from the Chronicles of Riddick and video games.
So it probably looked just like the trailer, like a fake video game.
Yeah, but these channels are really mean, you know.
I'm not talking about Avatar.
Like
Uh,
the accounts are like the pro gamer Jay.
Andrew, is any of this gonna make the cut?
oh, it'll make the cut because it's funny, but I'm not talking about Avatar.
No, but I think we should really. I pulled some quotes from the comments because all of these fake trailers are like you know, they're only big because bots go in the comments, or like dudes in India who are paid to click on stuff on the computer. Like they'll go into the comments and write stuff to get someone more views. But I have a couple comments I'd like to read.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate this, you know. I know it's a little tangent. All right, so this name I can't pronounce because it's not English. They say, I have watched the movie Avatar 48 times at theater. I thought it would get Academy Award of that year for sure. I agree. I really do. I don't know why. Another comment read, I'm excited to watch it. Clap emoji, clap emoji, clap emoji, clap emoji, clap emoji, clap emoji. Brazilian flag emoji. -RJ. Heart face emoji, double pink heart emoji. This was written by Gisilda Pandino Werneck, which I don't know, a Brazilian with a German last name, you know, kind of connect the dots. That's all I gotta say.
Is that it for the Avatar tangent?
That. Oh no, I have one more.
Oh, one more. Okay.
Lord Humongous says, I read the script. All the fat characters die first because they're too slow. Just like, why? And then if that's true about Avatar 2, I will renounce any love for the Avatar series.
All right. That's good.
I don't want you guys to think I'm like some sort of evil monster.
Right. No, of course.
But yeah, I just thought Avatar 2 was stunning. I just wanted to share my thoughts, and I did a little research on it. Yeah. This is the Avatar 2 segment.
Owen, you know what? You know what Avatar 2 taught me? And world history did not teach me this. Avatar 2 did. Colonization is bad.
Dude,
I just want you to know that.
Dude, you hit it right on the head. How'd you know?
What I want you to know. Dude, I don't know.
You said it better than I could even articulate.
I didn't learn about like Cortez and the conquistadors like slaughtering all the Mayans, Aztecs, I watched Avatar. I'm like, wow, this is really mean. These people from a dying planet go to this other planet and take over because their planet needs all their resources and or they want to relocate. That is really mean.
They're real jerks. This is the Avatar 2 segment. Buka, if maybe you want to just leave like a little footnote at the beginning, which they could click and just skip.
Yeah, Avatar 2.
Wait. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I like that the aliens are blue.
Yeah, that's great. I'll put a thing in the beginning and in the description so that people can skip the discussion on Avatar, because I don't know anyone in their right mind that wants to discuss Avatar.
No, I'm saying skip ahead to the discussion.
I wasn't.
Yeah, what? No?
I wasn't. No. I hate Avatar.
Oh no, for the audience though.
Yeah, that they do like it. They'll know when to skip.
Avatar.
Well, here's what I'll do. I'll put the beginning and the end, and then they can choose what to skip to.
Okay. I'll just put it in the comments.
Yeah, do that.
Fine, I'll do all the work.
That's fine. I want to say that I have no idea who Charlize Theron is supposed to be in the end credits trailer. I suppose she's going to be like another sorceress.
I have to come clean.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the after credits thing, you know.
You didn't watch either of them?
No, because I just have places to be. Like
one of them has Bruce Campbell in it.
I don't like being in a theater and it's like bright and you know you see the guy next to you and it's like it's too many people.
Okay.
Like I don't have time.
I really don't know how to answer that.
I don't either.
Why don't they just post the after credit scenes on like YouTube?
Because that's how they get people into the movie, is to see what happens at the end.
No, they get people into the movies to see the movies.
Yeah, and the end credit scenes.
Oh.
But either way, it looks like they were going into the dark dimension, which is what Christian has behind him right now, where Dormammu was at one point. If I can lead into some speculation here as to what Christian was saying earlier, before we talked about a crappy movie, the future.
Well, you don't know that
because the future projects of the MCU. You know, they mentioned the movie Incursions, and that would be two universes colliding with each other. One survives or both die. The way that I could think that they would do it is Avengers versus X-Men style. So, our universe being the Avengers, the X-Men, and maybe even Fantastic Four, Namor, whatever, being the universe that is colliding. And then, they have a big fight to see, not even fight, but really just to see which universe would survive. It was a cool book. Obviously, that's not what the book is about. The book is about, I think, the Dark Phoenix. But that can't really be a good narrative point at this stage in the MCU. Otherwise, I don't really know how they're going to introduce the X-Men. Otherwise, multiverse. I thought it would be multiverse since they announced multiverse. But like I said, that's a dangerous thing to do if not handled very properly. I think No Way Home handled it pretty well, but this one, not so much, because it would, like we said earlier, it really wasn't a multiverse movie. if you've seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, that was a multiverse movie. This one was just like, whatever. It's two different universes. What are you gonna do?
It should have correctly been titled Doctor Strange, the two Multiverse of Madness.
Right. Just the two of them.
Yeah, I don't know. There's, I guess the optimistic side of this would tell you that there's a lot they can do with what's going to be coming next, because the mere fact that they've introduced the multiverse, right? And we've seen it's different styles how the multiverse take, on Spider-Man universe with No Way Home. We've seen it with Kong in Loki, and it looks like he will be in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which I'm semi excited for it. But it almost just seems like at this point there's not one singularly only entity that they're going to be gearing up towards to be the big main bad villain that all the new Avengers with some of the old core Avengers will be fighting. It just seems like it's going to be whatever they want to pull out of the multiverse now that they've introduced it in many different forums. So it could be bad, it could be good. Clearly only time will tell. I know Andrew and I will continue to go seeing the movies, but it seems like Owen, your Marvel fandom has completely died.
I don't know if it was ever there in the first place.
It's the horse has left the barn, as they say. And I just think I haven't really been interested in a long time. I mean, I didn't see the first Doctor Strange. And, like if it's a fun thing to do with my sister, if she wants to go see one, I'm like, yeah, I'll go see it. Yeah, I could really care less. I just like going to the movies.
It's not for everyone.
We'll take you with us to go see Thor. Don't worry.
That is one movie that looks so unbearable to me. I don't know if I could sit through that movie.
That's why you'll come with us. Don't worry.
It looks so, oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't do it.
Listen, just look at it like a movie going experience with your pals. Okay.
Right.
That's all you got to look at it like.
That's true.
That's simple.
So Owen, before we wrap up, is there any other final notes that have to do with Doctor Strange and not Avatar?
I just think, so is this a podcast?
Yeah.
Would you guys consider yourselves podophiles?
I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I rest my case. Back to you.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, I liked it, but for all the reasons that Marvel didn't want me to. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was enjoyable for me, but yeah, I just same. Like I liked it for all of the Raimi fingerprints on this movie, not so much the Marvel and MCU's ones. I don't know. I can't say I don't have faith in them, what they're planning to do, but I just don't think whatever they have in mind right now is going to pan out the way they think it will. But again, only time will tell. But yeah, it's enjoyable, is fine.
I'm cautiously looking forward to Thor.
Owen, thank you so much for joining. I hope you had a good time. You brought a lot to the table. This was definitely a very unique and different episode from what Andrew and I are used to. But
well, it was very unique for me as well.
And you're welcome. You're welcome anytime.
Yes.
I know I'd be open to have an Avatar discussion with you, but I highly doubt Andrew would want to take place in it.
That could be, yeah.
I'm not going to see that movie.
That could be what puts this pod on the next level.
I am not seeing that movie. I'm not.
It's already blacklisted for Andrew.
It's already blacklisted. I'm not seeing it. But yeah, that's Doctor Strange too. Thanks again, Owen.
All right, I'll do the outro. Ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Something in my...
No. all Batman and everything.
Something in my yeah. Mm. Man, that movie was sad.
Okay, on that note, thanks again, everyone that stuck through listening. As always, tell everyone, tell your friends, neighbors, Aiden, anyone.
Grandma,
Spread
dog
the good
walker.
word. Until next time, take care.
Where did Owen go?
He hid.